Okay, so by popular demand, aka one person asked me how, I'm going to demonstrate how you would make the floating tabs that Daksina did without a Cricut machine using Canva instead. So this is the one that I made using the Cricut machine. These two I recently made using Canva and printing out on sticker paper. Um, the difference in the look is due to the fact that down here on the inside, I use matte laminating sheets. There's two reasons behind it. You don't have to do it, but the reason why I did it is because they're easier to keep the shiny sides together without sliding around if you're using the matte ones. And that's purely it, just kind of laziness and clumsiness. I found that these worked better. But it will work with regular laminate sheets. Also, sometimes when you're laminating, you get these weird kind of bubbly looks on the inside if you're using kind of the harder, higher micron laminating sheets, and it doesn't show if you're using the matte. So that's my reasoning behind that. So I will switch to my computer, go to Canva, show you how I make the stickers, and then I'll print the stickers and laminate them, the whole 9 yards. Okay, see you in a minute. Cut. Okay, here we are in Canva. I am going to first create a design. I use A4. For those of you in the States, you could make a custom size and just type in 8.5 by 11 and create new design. The first thing I do is I want to limit kind of the height that I'm going to make my little stickers, because that will dictate how far the tabs stick up over the top of the page. So I go to Elements, Lines and Shapes, and I add a square. Or I try to add a square. There, I add a square. Now, because I just did this in inches, this box is going to be inches. That surprised me the last time I tried to film this. So I'm going to want the height to be 0.3. The width doesn't really matter. Oh, to zoom in, you go right here. The width doesn't really matter, but I tend to do an inch if I'm doing inch at 0.3, and that will give you kind of the same height as the ones that you see in my thumbnail or at the beginning of this video. Then I go to text. I add a text box. I type in today, and the only reason why I'm making this box, this brown box here, is to make sure that any of the kind of font changes that I do stay within the size that I want it for the tabs, because you have to keep in mind that when you laminate, you have a little bit of a pocket around the lamination. So this I found to be the best size for the height of the tabs that I like, so that it doesn't poke out past the top of my cover. You do you. The fonts that I like to use are Archivo Black, and I'll show you these in a second. Anton. Chloe is the one where every time I make these tabs, somebody takes them. So I can make that a little bit bigger by increasing the font size by hitting plus. As long as it kind of stays within this box, that's what I can use to dictate the size. I'm still within the box. I can go bigger. And I think I'm probably almost reaching the limit. One more. Okay. So After that, I would just move the box away. I would duplicate. Instead of today, I would type in month. I can't tell you how many times I've done this. Month, you know, notes. And to do. Those are the 4 tabs I usually make because those are the sections in my planner. The write me ones that I use to remind me that I actually need to write the entries for my journals between here and here, say, that just says write me. I'm going to switch over, or I thought I was going to switch over to another document. This one's A4, so the box sizes are 25, around 25. You can get 25, and then 8 high. And that's about the same as what I just did in inches. So you can see everything fits within my box, and the box is purely just to keep an eye on the size. Now this one goes a little bit over because of the Y, but I don't care if the Y is kind of tucked in within the pages, bit of the Y. You can tell that it says today, so I let that one go. Mostly because that's such a thin font that I just didn't want to get any thinner. The fonts that I make tabs out of are Bebes Nue. I don't know. Don't know what. Buffalo, Chloe. This one is Anton. This one is Archivo Black, and that one is probably the closest to the font that I used on the Cricut when I made the Daksina version of these. And these little bars right here are literally just the same thing I did right there. And then I made the color black by clicking up here. Just to give it that same exact look as what she did in her tutorial. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for that. I will duplicate out these. I'm wondering what I'm doing. I'm clicking away and then clicking back just on the word. This one is grouped, so I have to ungroup it. Well, no, maybe I don't. Let me just try this. Okay, so if I want to copy a grouped file, you kind of touch these little dots on the corner. I think as long as month doesn't go over, I think it's going to go over. Yep, it went over. Okay, so if that happens, you have to ungroup, clicking anywhere. Then it will let you stretch this out and move it over. So I have started to not group them before I move them around. I'm just going to already start moving them over here. Group these just because if I accidentally grab them somehow while trying to grab something else, they can get messed up. And I don't want them messed up. Okay, everybody's grouped. I'm going to move this over there. Now, I have the whole rest of this page. What am I going to do? This is when I usually kind of make planner stickers. To do that, you go into Elements and just search for something. I'm going to search for ink bottle. You could type it in, or I apparently type ink bottle quite a bit. I'll type it in for now. I use graphics instead of photos just so we see what photos look like. Yeah, I don't want a big square of something. I'm not using big squares. So graphics has cute little cartoony images. If you see this little crown, that means this is for Canva Pro. I do have a Pro account, so I can use those, but there are a ton of ones that aren't Pro. This isn't. So anything that doesn't have the little crown next to it, you can use. So let's do this one. So if I want that to be a little bit more like planner size, these are vectors. So, even if you resize this down and later want it big, you can just resize it back up. No problem. No loss in quality. You can see up here that you have the option of editing the colors. So I'm going to copy this. We'll have one pink one and make sure it lines up along the bottom edge. There's a little red line that shows up. And I'm going to click on the pink and I'm going to change that to purple. So that's a purple bottle of ink and a pink bottle of ink. I'm going to group them to make it easier to copy them in their position. I'm going to duplicate. The first time you duplicate, it's kind of off center, but as long as you come up and line it up along the bottom edge, you see those red lines? The next time you go to copy, it'll just duplicate out along the same line. I tend to then ungroup those little groups and group the whole thing. And that way, should I want 2 lines of this, I can just duplicate that. Did I say that copy paste works? Like Control C, Control V, and whatever it is on the Mac? Probably Command, right? But yeah, just keep looking for, let's see, fountain pen. Find a cute one. I just fill up the rest of the page with stickers that I want. And I make stickers out of everything, every situation. But for my pen pal letters, I do the little ink bottles and the fountain pens. And then when you are done, you go File, Download. I download them as JPEG. And I bump the quality up to 100 and the size to 2.5. I don't know why. I just found that was kind of the minimum that the printing looked good for me. Yeah, and then print them. Print the JPEG file out. I use the glossy, transparent laser labels by Avery. I'll include a link to those below. I'll try some of these on the mat, like the Maco paper and the Avery mat and see what they look like. But I have a feeling it's going to look better on the glossy because the laminate sheets are glossy. So I will come back when I've got this printed and ready to laminate. All right, bye. Okay, part 2 of floating tabs. I printed it out both on the laser labels, which are kind of glossy. Sorry for the glare, but that's kind of what you're going to get with glossy. And I printed it off with the kind of matte labels. You can see that the laser ones look a little bit sharper, but this, you know, this paper has its place. It kind of gives you that washi tape soft look that melts into the page when you're kind of journaling with it and making stickers. Yeah, so I'll try it with this as well, just to see how it is, just in case you have absolutely zero access to a laser printer. I have 3 kinds of laminating sheets to try. I've got my matte laminate strips that I've already cut because I left the folder of laminating sheets at work. So I've got these strips here, and it's kind of a little bit of a frosted look, like you saw within the tabs in the previous bit. I've got the 125 micron, the thicker laminate sheet, and that's going to be the outside. And then I brought a thinner one to be the inside to do it over clear in case you don't have access to the matte laminate sheets, and B, you just like the look of the clear. So I'll try all that. I'm going to cut these into strips, cut one of these into strips, and then I'll show you how I put them together. I'm going to cut those into strips. I'm going to cut these out by hand, fussy cutting. And I'll show you how I put it together, and then I'll stop it again, run it through the laminator, and come back and cut them up in front of you and kind of see how these ones went. Okay, bye. Okay, I hope you can see this. There's going to be glare because there are glossy things. This is the matte laminate. Right now, it's facing the way it usually would be if you got laminate sheets. So I'm going to, it's really hard to tell, but you can just sort of tell by feel on these. I'm going to put them kind of face to face, and you can see they're slippery that way. And I'm going to do the same thing with the glossy. I'm going to lay a gloss side down. Wait, gloss side up. Gloss side down. So the two exterior bits are facing each other. And the reason why you're doing that is that once it goes inside this one, you want the adhesive to stick to the adhesive on here. This will make sense in a minute, I hope. Yes, okay. So I've cut out matte stickers, glossy stickers, stickers with a border, stickers with no border. Hopefully I just didn't bump the table. We're just going to try various versions of this. I'll stick some down and show it to you, and then I will kind of turn the camera off and keep going on my own. So I'm just going to do exactly like Daksina did in her video and take this one off. Line it up to the edge of this so I can see what I'm doing. Peel a sticker. And with these kinds of stickers, you want to peel forward, image away. And I'm going to stick this so that the edge of the box lines up with the edge of the laminate. As best as you can. And then I will do, let me see, to do month today. Notes. Actually, okay, so I'm only going to do some of them because otherwise it won't fit if I try to do the different kinds. So I'll do notes and to do. Is this a matte one? No. There's a to do. There's notes. Notes. Okay. So, and then I will do these kind. I'll just do notes and to do as well. So there's to do. And notes, and then I'll do them in matte. Notes and to do. Now these I'm not sticking down yet. I'm going to stick those down on the actual, on this one once I lay it in there, and I'll show you that in a minute. Once I stick these ones down, and I'm going to do the same with these ones. I'll stick all those down. Then I'll come back, we'll do these, we'll stick it inside the laminate sheet, and we'll do those ones. All right, okay, I've got all these stickers stuck down that I'm going to do. And I have put the glossy side back against the glossy side on here. You want these to line up precisely. They're very slippery, so it's kind of hard to do. Leave that like that. Take the smooth side to the smooth side of this. Line it up. And then you're going to get your thicker laminate sheet. And I'm just gonna stick that down. Grab this one, kind of move it up. This one's a bit longer than I need it to be, but I'm not going to bother cutting it down right now. So that slipped. Great. Now you see why I like doing the matte more. Because it's real, these are really, really slippery. All right, let me try and peel this up. Luckily this stuff peels up really easily. I'm going to try it again. Lined it up. Stick it down. And it's trying to slip around. Okay, we've got those stuck down. Now we're going to, is this one glossy or matte? Okay, glossy, matte, glossy. Where'd the other one go? Is that it? Yes. Matte. Okay. I think I'm cutting it very, very close. But that's okay. With these ones, I stick them just above the edge. Usually I have it lined up to the grid. I'm not sure why I didn't do that this time, but it's a good idea to do so if you have a chance to do it. This is, and I cut these stickers square, like square edges. Just so that they're easier to line up to the edge of this. It's a little fiddly. They aren't perfect. If anybody's examining your tabs super closely in your planner, then I think you've got other problems going on. All right, so now we're gonna do month and today. I'm really, really regretting not having turned this so that the grid is lined up. I suppose I could do it now, but I'm afraid to move because I am not the steadiest person. So if I'm not the steadiest person and I'm pulling this off, you can too. Matte. Matte. All right. I'm going to close that. I'm going to run it through the laminator. I'm not going to show that. You guys have all seen a laminator. I'll be right back. Hello. I've been waiting for the dog to stop pacing back and forth so that I can shoot this just last bit of this video so I can edit it. But I don't think it's going to happen. So we're going to listen to the dog walk back and forth. So basically, I did all the versions of the tabs. I am going to insert still images of what the tabs look like, but I think that they look fine either way, kind of poking out, to be honest with you. They're just tabs in the end. They might look a little cleaner if you do the printout on the clear glossy photo paper, but if you're doing, say for instance, these are the clear, these are not the ones I'm looking for. These are not the ones I'm looking for. These are the ones I'm looking for. Okay, if you are, for instance, doing the laminate that is matte, then especially you don't really see it as long as you kind of butt it up correctly. There was one that I did that you'll see that was like to do or today. Was it today? Nope. It was to do, and there's like a little sliver that you can see, which made it so that it didn't seal very well. As long as you kind of butt up your sticker to the laminate, they're about the same shade, and I think it's all fine. It's all fine. If you can print it on the clear, it does look a little bit better. If you can print it on the matte, if you can do the matte laminate sheets, that to me looks a little bit better. But again, they're tabs. It's not necessary to get this fancy with the whole thing. I wanted to show the difference between, so you could tell right there, and I'll do the close-up, that the inkjet version, the kind of matte version of the sticker, may not look that great against the bottom of the tab, but again, that's going to be stuck in your book. Who cares? And wow, did I stick all these on really crooked. But this is my preferred. This is fine. This is fine. These ones made to kind of look like the version that I'd cut on the Cricut actually look better than the Cricut. Look at that weird, I don't know. It just looks fine. It all looks fine. Fine. It's mostly, you know, how to make sliding tabs. They don't need to be fancy. You can do them with any font you want. You can have the little bar along the bottom. You don't have to have the little bar along the bottom. They all look fine sticking out of your book. They're just really to tell you where you need to go in your book. So, yeah. I think was that it? No, there was one more thing. Where'd it go? One more thing. I was going to show you that. Where is it? I just had it. Sorry about this. I'm going to cut all this out. No, I won't. I'm too lazy. Oh, here we go. To-do. So this is what it looks like when the corners aren't rounded. This is what it looks like when the corners are rounded. I use this guy, which is a Kodomaru Pro. I think I've seen it called all kinds of other things. There's a small, medium, large. I just use small. I go around all the edges. If you get like a little hangy bit, you just turn it over and do it the other way. See, much nicer, won't poke you. That is it. Hopefully this was helpful for, I think, the one person who asked. All right, bye.